it was August 24th, and it was my actual last day in Ceuse, because on the next day, on the 25th, I had to drive back home because on the next days there would be the Rockmaster competition in Arco, in my home. So this was the very last day I could try the route during this trip. The day was not the best, or maybe it looked the worst, because it was raining in the morning, so we decided to go up anyway just because it was the last day. So maybe if it wasn't the last one, I wouldn't even go up to the crag, because going up to the crag is tiring, and going up risking not to climb is very tiring if you plan to climb some other days. But if it's your last day like this one, then it was worth a chance. I started this attempt around 3 p.m. after a warm-up on a usual 7B+, and a warm-up go on the route. Usually when I do a warm-up go on the route, I go until the top to check every move, to try to memorize everything and warm up on every move of the route. But this day it was the first time that I didn't go up until the top. I just did a warm-up go until the boulder of the route, the first cracks, and I stopped just after that. I did this to save some energy. I knew it was the last day. I want to have 100% of the energy for the attempts on the route. I usually have from 2 to 3 attempts on the route. Actually, during the previous days, I did up to 3 attempts on the route per day, because I always fell on the cracks, on the first cracks, and it was not up on the wall. It was around 15 meters from the ground. After this rest, I was quite fresh. I used to rest there around 2 minutes. I didn't count with a chrono or something. I just started climbing again when I felt fresh, and it was almost around 2 minutes rest on a jog. And then this section was a hard section before the cracks. In the morning it was raining, and while I was climbing there was a storm, but it was quite far from the crag. At the beginning I was worried, because Dave Graham told me that 20 years ago 2 people died during a storm in Ceuse, but the storm was really far from the crag, so actually I was focused on the route.
Ale. Ale. Ale.
I almost catch the 2-finger pocket, but then I fell. And around 1 hour and a half later, I decided to have a second try on the route. On the previous attempt, a guy filmed me and helped me to film my ascent, but then he went climbing, so I asked Sara if she could film me while I was trying the route, and for the first time she didn't belay me, and I asked to Seb win belay for the first time. It was not Sara. We were trying the route together, so we share some belays. Actually, Sara always belayed me, and sometimes I belayed Seb and Sean Bailey on their attempts. The temperature went a bit down. It was a bit cooler than the previous weeks. Actually, during August, 1 week was really warm, so I had to wait around 4 days, and I went training to Briançon to wait the perfect condition on the route. So this was one of the coldest day, and actually even if it was raining and felt a bit humid, the condition that day were perfect. I I never had problems on the first part, and I always climb with easy until the first good jog, that is a big rest, where I used to rest, as I told you before, around 2 minutes. During the previous day, I already climbed the route from the boulder, from the first cracks until the top. I did this part 3 or 4 times, so I knew I was ready to try the route from the ground. Sometimes I tried the route from this rest to the top, but I always failed on the first cracks. But then I decided it was useless to try this part of the route from here to the top and try from the bottom, because it changed just a tiny little bit, and I was just a little bit more pumped, but not too much, and it was worth to try the route from the ground and not from the rest. This section here is intense. I changed the beta here a few times before finding the perfect beta, and this for me was the best way to do it. In all the attempts I did from the ground, I never passed the cracks, and the best attempt was the previous one, when I catch the 2-finger pocket. Maybe I did another one where I catch it a little better, but I never passed these cracks. I felt good on the shoulder moves. Match it way better than the other times. Catch the 2-finger pocket, and that put the 3rd finger in it. And for the first time I stuck the cracks. But I knew the route was not over. It was just the first cracks. This part here was not super hard, but I had to be precise. I decided to skip this clip because it was a bit tiring and not very useful. And then here there was the rest after the first cracks. I stayed here for very long, around 4 minutes, and during the previous tries, when I tried it from the cracks to the top, I never rested so long, but now I was more tired, so I need 100% to be recovered from the first boulder. From here there was this section, and then another small rest, a bit worse, but worth to stay some seconds on it. And from here the second crack starts. It is a longer section, a bit easier than the first cracks, but I'm way more pumped because it's the last part of the route. When I tried the route from the first cracks to the top, I always clipped both this quick throw and the next one. But here the game was different. I wanted to send the route, so I had to skip 2 quick throws in a row, this green one and the orange one. I didn't care about the fall, I just wanted to go to the top.
Nice try.
Super good. Super good. Come on.
Nice.
And this was the hardest move of the second cracks. And matching this, I was at 100% at my limit. I almost fell here to this undercling. Then from here was still not over. Another move from the undercling to a big hold. and now the section here was a bit easier until a very good rest. Finally a quick draw to clip. The last one I clipped was like 10 meters ago. And then a very good rest, where I rested very long because the route now was basically finished. There were still one quick draw and then the chain, but it was like still 15 meters of climbing. So I wanted to rest very well, and there was still a long move here where it was, not possible to fall because I rested a lot, but if I was super pumped, it was totally possible to fall. Unfortunately here I'm going behind the rock, so it's not possible to see every move. But when I was climbing here, I knew I would climb the route. I climbed this section a lot of times, I never did mistakes. This was the hardest move. But then it was on jugs, basically, until the chain. The total climb was around 18 minutes. Here it was faster because I speed up a bit the rest. And then the final scream arrived and the dream was true.